All right, Craig, we should be live.
Okay, all good.
All right, cool. All right, can you see me and hear me all right?
Yeah, I can see and hear you, no problem.
Fantastic stuff. All right. Okay, Craig, so welcome, and I'm delighted to have you on board today's call. Um, so, Craig's just going to share his experience of being inside the Indestructible Man program. Craig's just completed this 12-week transformation, the mental and physical reset blueprint. So, Craig, first of all, I'll let you introduce yourself. Why don't you tell us who you are and where you're from?
My name's Craig Fraser. I'm originally from Edinburgh. Um, was a police officer for 30 years. Retired in April last year.
Cool. Okay, Craig. So I'm going to ask you a few questions today, just to hear what your experience has been inside the program and with us and stuff, and what results you've achieved. So what I want to do is, like, first of all, let's start with when we first had our conversation back in December. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us, like, before that, like, what was going on for you? Like, what was life
Um,
like?
from about 2013, when I had a previous back surgery in 1993, suffered over the years. Um, had a relapse in 2013. I'd been looking after myself, keep myself fit. I was about 16 stone, which at 6'3" I wasn't that bothered about. I felt quite good about. And my disc, I had a relapse with my disc again. For some reason, they didn't operate then. They put me on a lot of different medications. And for the next 8 years, on ridiculous amounts of opiates, anti-inflammatories, antidepressants, mixed with alcohol because I was struggling to cope. Couldn't sleep at night. I was working latterly at the police college, um, which was a residential job, and I wasn't being able to sleep at night, which was affecting me in the class. And the amount of medication was just utterly ridiculous, and my whole mood cost me relationships. It cost me my health. It cost me a lot over the years. And I'd seen a couple of guys who were friends of mine who had done your program, and I gave it a lot of thought. Obviously, you and I had a chat at the beginning. In fact, the first time we chatted was just before then, because I had booked a holiday, so I couldn't come on the program to start with. And then we had a chat at the beginning of December to focus, and that we were going to commence at the start of the new year. And we had a really good chat, about a lot of things. And I kind of said that, yeah, physically I wasn't in a great place, but mentally I think I was actually worse. And that's what I wanted to work on. And obviously having conversations with yourself made sense to have a go, come on board and see what we could do.
That's great. So you said that you went in a good place mentally.
No, that was terrible.
Tell us
Uh,
more about
well, I'd spoken to the doctor at great length over about 2 or 3 years to ask him about coming off all the ridiculous medication, because I felt it wasn't doing anything for me other than making me dependent on it, because I used to get withdrawal symptoms from it. I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't eating properly. Mentally, I was just all over the place. I needed to focus on me. I mean, I've got 4 kids. There was a lot of guilt involved, and people guilt tripping me, ex-partners, what about my kids and stuff. And I was just kind of acquiescing to everybody and splitting myself into 100 different pieces and not getting anywhere. And the only person that was really suffering for it was me. You know,
it. I think Craig's maybe lost signal there. We'll just wait a moment, see if he comes back on. Here he comes.
Christian, sorry, I must have went through a black spot there, mate. We're heading over the Fraser Bridge. Yeah, things were just not great. Mentally, I was terrible. Wasn't focused. Didn't really care much about myself. I've been brutally honest with you. I was more trying to look after my kids and family pressures were terrible. So yeah, I needed to do something. And after our chat, I kind of thought, well, yeah, why not? Let's just try this and see where we go. Focused on it, and I've not really looked back after that to where I am now.
Cool. So we're gonna come back to this and look back at like what you have achieved and what this has actually done for you and the work that you've put into this. But now, like, if you hadn't done anything, if this was left unresolved, like, what would today look like for you? Do you think, or
I'd still be sluggish. I certainly wouldn't be sitting where I am just now. I'm not going to put the camera on her, but I have a new partner in life, and things are going in the right direction properly. I would not be sitting where I am just now. Nicola and I spoke for a period of time, over the years, and now things have moved forward greatly in that respect, physically and mentally better. Had I not done that, I'd still be probably heavily reliant on medication and other people, and the health service trying to move forward and not getting there. I think I would have still been fuzzy-headed, not really liking what I see when I look in the mirror. That's where I was. Ultimately, I don't think anything would have changed in my life.
tell us about this, what sort of stuff you'd be trying? Like,
listen, I tried things over the years. I lost 3 stone in weight about 3.5 years ago, doing a thing. A friend of mine, he retired to Australia, and his partner was involved in the sort of medical research and gut repair and all that kind of stuff. And I did something for a 12-week period, and I lost 3 stone in weight, but it wasn't sustainable. I mean, it was ultimately just another one of those diet things, taking supplements and costing you a fortune for the rest of your life without changing anything. It wasn't doing anything for me mentally, and I think, if I'm honest, looking back, I probably needed more the mental side to be sorted before I could even look at the physical side. Because it's all very well losing weight and feeling healthier, but when your mental state isn't good and you're not really focused on what you're doing, then I tried all that kind of stuff. I'd done the gym membership, got bored. I don't like the gym monkeys wandering about. I'm not that type of person. I'd rather be out walking and not up hills. I don't do walking up hills either. But I just wasn't getting anywhere. Let's put it that way. I was going round in circles, doing the same thing that everybody else does. That kind of New Year's resolution nonsense. By February, you're back on the bottle. That kind of stuff. That's pretty much how it was.
Cool, Craig. So let's look at your achievements.
Well, I've lost a lot of weight. I probably didn't weigh myself or look at myself as much because I knew I could feel it in my clothes, which was making me feel mentally better than staring at the scales. Albeit I did weigh myself every week, and you could see the
How much weight did you lose?
26 pounds. I've actually lost 28 pounds now. There's another 2 gone. And I'm going again. I'm doing it gradually. It's not been a crash diet and stuff. To be fair, the weight I knew I was going to lose weight. It came off me slowly, then it picked up, and it's now settled, pretty well. Still eating properly. I spoke to you about a nutritionist. I'd been seeing a nutritionist because I knew there was something wrong with, I've got an intolerance for something. It seems to be a yeast wheat type thing, which would tend to suggest why when I had 10 pints I felt terrible after it. Not hangover-wise, I don't get hangovers. I just was bloated and out of sorts and out of shape and sluggish. So, in tandem with that, having looked at my food intake, I was losing weight doing what we were doing. I was eating properly, taking the right advice, and this other little thing that's just addressed something that's been niggling me for a while has really, really helped me. So, 28 pounds now, which is 2 stone, and I feel really good about it. and I'll continue going in the right direction now because I'm a lot more focused, and I think I've probably got more from the mindset side than I have from the physical side because unfortunately, you know yourself, I've not been able to exercise properly because I have so many injuries and things going on to have lost that weight only by walking. I mean, I've not been able to do the gym work that you guys have been doing and stuff, so it makes me feel really good about that, because I know that I've done it by walking and by adjusting and watching what I'm eating and putting that routine in. I mean, one of the biggest things I've benefited from is that half hour, 20 minutes, half hour thing in the morning. Nicola does it with me now. The first thing we do is get up, we'll make a coffee, make a smoothie, and go and sit on the couch and just take that bit in the morning to wake up, have a think, have a relax, and then get on with the day's work. That's one of the biggest things for me. And regular meals, as opposed to, I mean, when I was doing the job I did before, the units that I worked in, you weren't eating properly, you were 10, 12, 14 hours without eating because you were so busy, and then you were eating the wrong stuff. It's like night and day now. I mean, because I'm having spinach and kale in my smoothies. I mean, I wouldn't even been in the same postcode as them before, joking aside, but it is, and Nicola's helping with that. She's on board and doing the same stuff with me. So, and it feels really good. And it's good to have someone that you're doing it alongside as well. But for me, the routine that's come from MyFitnessPal is great. When you were saying, look what you're eating. And what I've found with MyFitnessPal is if I'm thinking about something, I put it in first, and if it's got 1,000,000 calories, I'm not going anywhere near it. When you get that sort of kill a McDonald's. Well, why have 1,200 calories of a McDonald's when you're hungry 2 hours later? That kind of thing. It's my mindset's got me thinking about what I'm eating and what I should be eating, and they actually need what I'm thinking about. So yeah, it's really good.
What would you say, like, if you had to pick out one thing that, like, using this approach, that what we've done here, like, what's one thing that this program has opened your eyes to?
My health, both mentally and physically. Thinking about me and not, I probably disliked myself. I'm not saying I'm in love with myself. That's not what I mean. But what I actually mean is the fact that I actually like what I'm doing. I would look at things and think, oh, you're doing the wrong thing, and everybody's saying that. But no, I'm not answerable to anybody. Nicola and I have a relationship where we're answerable to each other in respects, but not, But I felt like the whole world was looking at me and going, "Aye, look at him, shite dad. Look at him, fat, overweight, not looking after himself, drinks like a fish." That kind of stuff. Whereas I shouldn't really bother about that. Working with you has given me that approach of look at yourself, look what you're doing, think about what you're doing, and focus. And I do that every day now. I do think about when I get up in the morning. I'm thankful for a lot of things in my life, which I was never thankful for before. So I didn't give myself the time of day to be like that, to stop and look. It's like that person that goes to a concert and holds his mobile phone up and records what he's watching. Stick your phone in your back pocket and live in the moment. That's the type of thing that I've learned from it. Take that time to smell the fresh air, to see what's round about you and enjoy it. And not worry constantly that you're constantly doing the wrong thing, that people are making you feel bad about you because they don't want to see you happy, they don't want to see you relaxed, they don't want to see you enjoying yourself. And that for me, and as I said to you, the mindset thing has been fantastic for me. And that is the biggest thing that I've got from this. Physically, yes, but having fixed my, or sort of not, having focused my mindset has had that domino effect on everything else.
Tell us about how's that all, like you spoke about, you've got a routine now in place, your mindset, like, it's way different than it used to be. Like, how's all that impacted your life now? How's that different?
Remarkably. I don't get up in the morning like a slug and thinking, oh, I need to do this, need to do that. And no, I'm actually looking after myself. I'm actually thinking about what is good and what is bad for me. And it's actually, even silly things like when somebody sends you a shitty text message criticising you, not jumping straight on, fuck you. You know, I'm not doing that. I'm thinking about it. I'm not perfect. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I can still have that blowout, but it's a different mindset for me nowadays. Right? It is. I'm happy. I'm more relaxed, and I think it's making me a better person. Honestly, the physio said to me this morning that she saw a remarkable difference in my eyes, the way I am, the way I'm speaking, the way I'm looking. And I'd only ever met her once in my life before, and that was about 5 or 6 weeks ago. You know, so for somebody like that to notice a difference in you is great.
How did you feel when she mentioned that?
Great. I said that to her. I said, you know, I'd never really think about it, but I said, I am more aware of what's going on round about me. It's having got all that medication out of me, having eaten better, sleeping better, exercising. I'm not running up hills and going to the gym and knocking myself out, but I'm doing more exercise, you know, and enjoying it. I did a couple of days joinery work there Monday and Tuesday to help out a mate who's got a landscaping company. I still can't throw railway sleepers over my shoulders and run about with them, but I was doing a lot more physical work and not as, you know, not as sluggish, not as sore afterwards. Yeah, okay, my body hurts, but if you go to the gym for the first time in X amount of time, a couple of days after it, you're suffering, and that's kind of, I'm accepting that nowadays, you know, and accepting the fact I'm 52, not 25. That's another big thing, you know. So,
52,
but
right?
no, yeah, I'm 52. So,
all right, Craig, let's recap on what you've covered here, right? So you're 52 years old. You've been through this program. You're mentally like a different person now. You've lost 2 stone. Like you're feeling energized. You're much more aware, much more alert. You've got a routine in place. Like you have the mindset to continue on now to do this on your own. Like, what actions did you have to take inside of this program to get to where you are now? Like, tell people, like, what actions did you have to take specifically?
I had to focus, right? I had to focus my mindset on doing things that I wasn't used to doing, right? Took myself out of my comfort zone, I'll say that, which again, I start a new job on Monday, right, that I wouldn't have applied for 12 weeks ago. I wouldn't have because my confidence was low, and it suits my skills base. I'm overqualified for the job, but I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have put myself out there, right? And that is a big thing for me. The biggest change for me was on the focus on myself and make sure that I was looking after myself, because I wasn't. Right, I was existing, not living. That's the biggest thing for me. I started thinking about what I was doing. I started spending time in the morning with my cup of coffee, going, right, what are we doing today? Instead of, yeah, I'll have a glass of gin before I go to bed tonight, right? And that's the biggest thing for me. I'm actually focusing and thinking about what I'm doing, trying to plan to, and that's a big change for me, because I didn't plan anything, right? Which caused me problems with my exes and my kids and stuff like that, because I was just living day to day. Whereas now there's more structure to my life because I focused on that. That's the biggest change for me. It's like having a diary now, as opposed to just a scattergun. You know, and I had a scattergun approach to life. So I'm still quite forgetful at times, but somebody keeps me right.
We all are. We all are.
Yeah.
All right, Craig. So, like, ultimately, like, what's led you to having all that, like, to having more focus, to having more structure, like.
But listen, every week I've had support from you. I've had exercises to do. I've had, you know, and I mean the mental exercises, not the physical exercises. It's focus. When you write something down and you read back, you think, never thought of it that way. And I've always been open with the things that I've written down about myself, you know, and the things that meant most to me, which you probably just take for granted, and I hadn't done. But when you've got someone supporting you and you're able to phone and go, do you know what? Having a shit day. I don't know what's going on here. And getting refocused and re-energized is great. You know, if you're it's hard to do something on your own when you're only answerable to yourself, because there's always that mañana, tomorrow will be better, right? And I think when you're writing things down and you're realizing that you're answerable to yourself, not anybody else, I think that was one of the biggest things for me, being answerable to myself and nobody else. People asking me questions and you go, well, that's got nothing to do with you. I'm doing it for me, and if you don't like that, then not a lot I can do about that. But I'm not talking about being harsh and horrible to anybody. I'm just talking about purely focusing on yourself when somebody's criticising you for doing something, and you're doing it for the best and the best of your health, both physically and mentally. Not everybody's going to like you. Not everybody's going to love you, but if you start to like yourself and what you're doing, and you're focusing on making yourself better, then everything else starts to slot into place, and that's what I'm realising now. So, 12 weeks ago, I would never imagine where I'm sitting right now. Let's put it that way. Both on a personal level, a professional level, and a health and mental well-being level.
Yeah.
So, you've done your job.
Well, you've done your job.
Yeah. Well, you've supported it, and that's the biggest thing for me. It's whether it's a text message or an email or a phone call, or just like last week, I listened to somebody else saying the same things, experience-wise, that I've gone through. He's obviously earlier on in the program, and it just, and all I can say is go with it. It keeps getting better, and you're only answerable to yourself. You're not doing it for anybody else. You're doing it for yourself, and that's the biggest thing for me.
What's your look? You've got a new partner now.
Yep.
New girl. You're in a relationship. Feeling good about yourself. You've got a new job. Craig's gone again.
Sorry, you just disappeared there, Chris. I didn't get that last question.
I saw you froze there. So we were saying that you've got, you're in a relationship again.
Yeah.
You've got a new job, starting up. You're feeling good about yourself, like mentally. You said you're off the tablets as well, aren't you?
Yep, absolutely, 100% of everything.
What does your future look like? Like, what's your plans for the future now?
To build a life going forward. We've spoken about it, and happy where we are in life, and moving forward, it's going to get better. Between us, we've got a few kids, a few animals, and a lot of good times ahead. So just keep focusing. That's what I intend to do, and get the best out of life that I've not lived for the last 8 years. I've got kids. I love my kids dearly. They fit in and around my life, and I fit in and around their life, and just making everything better. That's how I see it, and going from strength to strength, should I say. That's my focus now. I'm not looking backwards anymore. I used to look backwards and hit myself with a big stick. No more. Onwards and upwards, I think it would be the phrase. Just make life better and make the best of it.
Exciting times, Craig.
Yeah.
Just one final question. You've been through the experience you spoke about, listening to other people who are new to the program,
yeah,
and they're at the stage where you were, like when you started off, and look at where you are now. You're here. Like, what if someone was thinking about doing this program? What would you say to them?
Don't just think about it. Do it. Right? Take yourself by the scruff of your neck and do it. Commit to it. Do it, and you'll get the results.
All right, Craig. Listen, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks for jumping on and sharing your experience here.
No problem.
All right, we'll chat soon.
Catch up with you soon. Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.